Hi everyone. So welcome to the live stream today. Very much excited for having you on the live stream. Today we want to continue with our studies, focusing basically on some core issues on how you can study, approach the exams, and prepare well for your examination. I see some of you coming on the stream. Welcome to the live stream. Comment in the chat box any questions you have for me. Consider to also give us a thumbs up on the video. That way we get more engagement on the video, and YouTube and Facebook will be able to push the video so we can reach as many students as possible. In case you've also not subscribed to the channel, I don't know what you're waiting for, but smash the subscribe button and also click on the bell notification icon. That way, when I go live or release new content, you'll be the first person to be notified. So that you have for me from Facebook as well as on YouTube as we continue with our discussion on what you need to do in order for you to pass the examination. Now, remember, we have less than 6 weeks to go for the ICAG November 2020 examination. Less than 6 weeks to go. And in case you've not started learning, you've not started studying, I don't know why, but come on now, you've got to really up your game with that, and then start doing something as soon as possible, because less than 6 weeks and your exams is going to be up. So comment in the chat box for me. Let me know. I see some of you guys joining on YouTube. Thank you for the thumbs up. I see some of you with the thumbs up on the Facebook as well. Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure coming your way. Yesterday, we had an interesting time. After the live stream yesterday, I got a couple of calls, a couple of messages from you guys, and many people were like, yo, Nhyira, you were actually talking about me, and you were talking about me, and that kind of thing. I'm like, no, I wanted to share with you what it is that you need to know in order for you to understand the scope of the examination, and most importantly, know what it is that it takes in order for you to actually pass the examination. And funny enough, I had a call from a message from a friend of mine, and she was like, Nhyira, this one there, it is me that you were talking about. And I was like, no, I wasn't talking about you. And I had a FaceTime with her, and I hope she's watching as well. I had a FaceTime with her. I was like, honey, I wasn't talking about you, but it's just what it is. And you need to understand what it is you need to do for you to actually prepare for the exams and ultimately take your life to the next level. So today I want to share with you something that is very critical: how to study and pass the examination. I want to provide you with some exam tips and how you can approach the examination, what it is that you need to do. Now we have 6 weeks to go, less than 6 weeks to go actually for the exams, and it's very important for you to understand how you need to position yourself, strategize yourself in order for you to take your life to the next level, pass the exams, and most importantly, do what it is that you need to do. So you comment in the chat box any questions that you have for me. I'm going to provide you with some strategies, but on top of that, I will be also answering your questions. So if you have any questions for me, put them in the chat box from Facebook, from as well as on YouTube. Just put them in the chat box, on the comment box. I'm reading all of your comments here, and I'll be able to reply to all of them. Jeremy Rose said, good afternoon, sir. It's good to be here with you again. I have been following you for a while. I'm a student based in Liberia. All right, Jeremy, welcome to the live stream, and thank you for following us all the way from Liberia. We have a couple of students from Liberia studying for the ICAG examination. So welcome to the live stream. Right, I see Carlos Roberts coming in, said, hi, days are flying. December seems to be just around the corner. It's scary to think about it, but preparation is key. Yeah, Carlos, very, very critical. You know, December is just around the corner, so you've got to step up your game, right? Preparation is the key to be able to help you to prepare well for the examination and ultimately pass the exams to take your life to the next level. So I see some of you guys joining. Give us a thumbs up on the video. And also comment in the chat box any questions that you have for me that you would want me to share my thoughts on real quick as we get into some strategies today for your examination. as we get into some strategies today for your examination. So YouTube, let me hear from you guys from YouTube. I see some of you coming in from YouTube. Let me hear from you guys. Real quick. Okay, Gabriel. I see Gabriel Kogu coming in from YouTube. Let's see. Is it a message actually? Yeah. Gabriel said 46 days to go. Okay. Gabriel Kogu said 46 days to go, baby. Whoa, so you have actually, I was talking about 6 weeks. You have actually brought it into days to make it more easier for us, right? So 46 days to go. I'm very much excited about it because, hey, come on, it will be a time for accountability, a time for all the things that you have done so far. And I hope that you guys are preparing very well. That is why yesterday I was so hard on you guys, shared my thoughts on you guys, and make you understand what it is that you need to do in order for you to pass the examination. So just 46 days to go. I love that. I love that. Richard Opoku Ajiman with a thumbs up in the message box. Fisher Y said hi from Facebook. Hello, Fisher. All right. Welcome to the live stream. And want to share with you a couple of strategies and techniques that you can use and implement as we have less than 6 weeks to go with Gabriel's guidance. Gabriel is saying that 46 days actually to go, and I'm very much excited about it. Just 46 days to go. Jake Conedo Frimpong from Facebook is giving us an emoji in the chat box or in the comment box. Welcome to the live stream, Jake Conedo Frimpong. And I see some of you coming in. Comment in the chat box any questions that you have for me. Probably you are studying something and you don't understand it, or there is something you want me to share my thoughts on, or there is something that you are contemplating on, even the subject you want to write or register for. Put them in the chat box, in the comment box for me. I'm going to be looking at all of them to assist you in order for you to prepare well for the examination. All right. I see a message coming in from Esther Kosa. She said, good evening, sir. Please, I want you to throw more light on the PSA. Esther, when you say throw more light on the PSA, what exactly do you want me to do? What exactly do you want me to do? So, Esther, clarify what you want me to throw more light on in regards to the PSA so that I can assist you much better in relation to that. Nana Phil said, great job, sir. Thank you, Nana Phil. Welcome to the live stream today. Comment in the chat box any questions you have for me, and let me provide you with some assistance as we get into the exams in relation to that. From Facebook, Kenneth Makasa Chota said, I'm studying Masters of Science in Auditing, and I find your material excellent and very helpful. All right, Kenneth, thank you very much that you find our materials to be helpful. It's always a pleasure, and that is our duty. That is our mission for this YouTube channel. So we are grateful that you find some helpful materials on the channel. Wishing you all the best in your masters, and come out in a flying color and take your life to the next level. Nicholas Samwini said, good evening, sir. Please, I need explanation on quasi corporations, non-profit institutions, and self-reliant units. Okay. So, gotta see a couple of things coming in there. Okay, not-for-profit institutions. I think you're talking about differences between these corporations or these types of organizations. Nicholas, is that what you actually want? The differences between these organizations, or how they are formed, or what is it really you would want to look at? Because for not-for-profit institutions, these are institutions that are established, and as their name suggests, they are for not-for-profit purposes, because they are there either to satisfy a certain social need or a certain social endeavor within the community. So that will be what we call not-for-profit organization in that case. Then on the other hand, when we talk about when we talk about quasi corporations. Quasi corporations, we are talking about entities that exercise some functions of corporation, but that has not gained granted separate legal personality by statute. You know, what happens is that with types of organizations, what happens is we have limited liability companies. These are separate legal entities on their own. They can own assets, sue, and be sued. But with quasi corporations, these organizations, they are not fully fledged institutions on their own with legal entities. So there could be something like a joint venture arrangement. So let's say company A and company B comes together and they form another entity as a joint venture to execute a particular transaction or to execute a particular process or an undertaking. So that organization, it is not legally recognized as a separate legal entity on its own because it is deriving its powers from the two entities that actually established it. So these type of organizations for joint venture and those things will be referred to as quasi organizations in relation to that. Jonathan Dogbe said, "Good evening, sir. You are doing well." Okay, thank you very much, Jonathan from YouTube. Majori Janet, Majori, it's been a long time I heard from you. Is it right? Is it right that it's been a long time since I heard from you, Majori? Or it is your name rather that is familiar to someone I know, something like that. But I think it's been a long time I heard from you on the channel, Majori. Good evening, sir. Watching in from Uganda and doing my CPA. How well can I revise in order to pass excellently? So, Majori, stay with me. I'm going to come there in a moment, and I'm going to share some strategies with you in a moment. Esther Kosa said, please, specifically on the areas we should pay attention to since the PSA syllabus is very bulky. No. Esther, PSA syllabus is not bulky, all right? So I'm going to provide you with some strategies on what it is you need to do and the key issues, how you need to knit all of them together, all right? But the secret is the syllabus is not bulky. You just have to know the categorization of the syllabus and you should be good to be able to prepare well for your examination. So you comment in the chat box any questions you have for me, whatever it is that you want me to share my thoughts on. Most importantly, share the video as well. Let's reach as many students as possible watching the live stream so together we can assist a lot of students across the country, across the continent, and by extension, across the globe so that we can get more success. Right, so let's get into our discussion for the day. I want to share with you a couple of strategies on how you can prepare for the examination and how you can approach the exams to guarantee that you actually pass the examination. Now, less than 6 weeks to go, 46 days to go, actually, so there is a way you need to start strategizing yourself right now in order for you to actually be in a better position to ultimately pass the examination. So I'm going to sort of be scribbling a couple of things down here in my screen so that you see a couple of things that you need to understand. Number one, like I tell you all the time, you must deal with the issue that I shared with you yesterday about your mindsets. Okay? At this point, if you're afraid of any paper, you've got to get yourself over the fear of the paper. Okay? Because some of you, you're going to say, this subject is difficult, this subject is technical, this subject is this. No, it is not difficult. No, it is not technical. It's just one of those subjects. And this is the trick I do for everybody all the time. If you were able to pass your exams in the high school, you were able to pass your exams in the polytechnic, you were able to pass your exams in the university, or you had passed some exams before, it is equally the same thing. So don't freak yourself out. Don't say this thing is difficult. So it is very, very important to have the right mindset. Number two is to deal with the issue about your environment. This is very, very critical. In order for you to have the right mindset to position you to prepare well for the exams and ultimately pass the exams, you must look at your environment. Now, at this level, when I talk about the environment, you got to be careful about what it is that I'm driving at. Number one, when I talk about your environment, I'm talking about your physical environment, okay? I'm talking about your friends. I'm talking about your family, the people around you, the voices that you hear, because the people around you will say something that will either put fear in you or will help you to pass the exams or to prepare well for the exams. So there are people who will tell you, oh, management accounting is difficult, financial reporting is difficult, oh, CPA, becoming a certified chartered accountant is difficult, I used 20 years to pass before I chartered. Who gives a crap of that? Okay? You don't have to listen to whatever somebody says. So you've got to be careful about your environment. So I tell people you've got to be selective, and for that reason, you've got to be circumspect when it comes to the people you select to be around you. Don't listen to negative vibes. Don't listen to negative people. Don't listen to people who are pessimistic, people who would discourage you. So to get your mindset right, to get you in the position to be able to study well, you must be hearing the right voice. You must be surrounding yourself with the right people. And I tell my students all the time, I tell them this, I said, hey, listen, you're going to pass the exams, but then you've got to put in the work and sacrifice. Because if you put in the work and you sacrifice, you would definitely pass the exam. So you got to be careful about the people surrounding you. Who are your study mates? Very, very important. Because there are some of you, for some reason, you can't be alone. Until you are surrounded by somebody, you can't be alone. So who is your study mate? Okay? Who are you studying with? Who is your friend? What are they telling you? Are they motivating you to take your life to the next level again? If you have a friend who keeps on telling you negative things, who keep on telling you pessimistic things, who is too distracted that he or she cannot get his mind across a one thing or two things, you've got to change that kind of environment. Because listen, passing the examination is not about studying alone. This is the shocker you got to understand. It is not just about picking my tablet or picking my laptop or picking the book and sitting behind the book and learning. No, 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 no. Passing the exams is not just about opening the book and going through the book. It starts with the mindset. It starts with the environment. So you got to be careful about it. Who are your people? Who are the people you call your friends? There are some of us that our family members are actually distracted. They are actually toxic. And you got to find out how you can create a certain environment, even in a toxic environment, to give you the right mindset to be able to study. Okay? So check your environment. Be selective about your environment. If you think you need a study mate, be careful the person you call your study mates. Be very, very careful. Part of your environment is to deal with the issue about technology. Technology is a great tool. It can help you to do a lot of things, but it can also help you to actually be distracted. So find out, how are you using technology to make your life better? Now, remember, technology can assist you based on the way you study a lot. Remember, if you are somebody who has to listen to things over and over again, how about recording the notes, your voice on the notes aloud, so that when you are bathing, you are listening to your voice over and over again. When you are cooking, you are listening to your voice over and over again. When you are sleeping, the audio is playing behind at the background. When you are jogging, you are in the gym, you are listening to yourself over and over again. So you can use technology and harness the power of technology to actually become more productive and to be able to take your life to the next level. So you got to find out, how can I use technology to better my environment? How can I use technology to help me to study well? How can I use technology to help me to take my life to the next level? You have a smartphone. 99.9% of the people watching this broadcast will be watching on their smartphone. Very few of you, you are in the office, so you are watching on the office desktop. But if you go home, you will be doing a lot of the consumption on your mobile phone. The question is, how do you make the mobile phone assist you to study? So find out your environment. Technology is very, very critical. I cannot overemphasize the importance of how technology has assisted me to be where I am today, to do what I'm doing today, and to be able to take my life to where it is today by the grace of God. Technology is a tool that you have to use. So find out. For those of you who spend a lot of time on Facebook, on YouTube, on other social media platforms, but you know it is not adding any value to you, why not stop it? Why not stop it? Then somebody will say, Nhyira, I'm using the phone to study. They are studying, but they are WhatsApping. They are studying, but they are sending messages. They are studying, but they are distracting. They are being distracted with technology. Who are you deceiving? You aren't doing the right thing. So that is why it's very important. You can put your phone on do not disturb or mode, or like if you are using some song, then you can put it on a focus mode. Okay, that way, even though your data is on, you can select the apps you want to get notification from. So you block some time, and then in that time, yes, your data is on, but notifications from the social media apps will not come to you, and that will help you to create that environment you need in order for you to study. So how do you study? How do you pass the examination? Work with your mindset. Change the way you think about the subject. If you think the subject is difficult, it will be difficult. If you think the subject is hard to pass, it will be hard for you to pass. If you think the subject is confusing, it will be confusing. If I were you, I would tell myself, it is not difficult. I can do it. It is possible. And the more you prophesy, say some of these things to yourself, the more your mind takes it up, and the more you become better, and the more you position yourself to work well. Let me tell you this. I'm not here to motivate you. For your information, if you need motivation from somebody before you become successful or before you put yourself down to do something, then you are screwed, because nobody can motivate you. Motivation is just a pill to inspire you in the moment. But after that time, you are on your own. That is why I told you yesterday, you've got to find your why for starting this journey in the first place. So number one, your mindset. Number two, your environment. Check your physical environment. Make sure you are selective about the people you surround yourself with, and make sure that you focus on the issue in relation to the person that you call your study mates in case you request or you need one, and make sure you use technology to work well with yourself. Number three is to ask yourself, what is my study style? What is my study style? So number three, what is my study style? Or if you want, learning style. At this point that we have 6 weeks to go, or 46 days to go if you want to, you must understand how you need to study. So what is your study style? There are various ways that people study. There are people who study by repeating, repetitive. There are people who study by watching. As they see something being done, boom, it sticks. There are people who study by listening to the thing over and over again. There are people who study by just listening to the thing once like that, understanding it, and everything sticks. So you have to find yourself, go into yourself, what is my study style? Now remember, study styles are different for each and every one of us. Okay? Study styles are different for each and every one of us. I am a master of a lot of the ways that I study. There are certain things I study by watching. There are certain things I study by drawing them, sketching them out. So if you look at me carefully, realize that anytime I'm teaching, and my students will tell you this, I like to put the thing in a chart form, in the diagrammatic form, because that is how my mind works and that is how I'm able to understand. So you've got to find yourself, what is my study style? How is it that I can study? It's very, very important. There are some of you, when you sit behind book for 1 hour, your brain, you start getting migraine. It means that you need to work in a certain way. You need to find out what the heck is going on with me. There are some of you, you sit behind book 20 minutes, then you start sleeping. There are some of you, you sit behind book for 3 hours after learning, nothing is in your head. It goes back to what I call the study style. You aren't studying the right way. Probably the 3 hours that you are behind the book, your data is on. Probably the 3 hours that you are behind the book, you are on TikTok. Probably the 3 hours that you are behind the book, you are WhatsApping or chatting a little with your boyfriend or girlfriend or your wife or your husband or your boss or whatever, your friend or whatever it is. So you got to find out. I tell my students all the time, it is not about how many hours you spend behind the book, it's about the quality of those hours. It's not about how many hours you spend behind the book, but it's about the quality of those hours. So this is what you got to do. 6 weeks to go, 46 days to go. What do you have to do? You need to schedule yourself out. Have a personal timetable. If it is twice a week, block some time. Now, when the time is due, put off your data. Put off your phone if it is possible, or put it on silence if it is possible, and sit behind the book. Don't be distracted. The TV is off. If you are married with children, the children certainly they are not around you, that kind of thing. If you are single, then just be at your one corner somewhere and do your own thing. But you see, if you can do 45 minutes uninterrupted, listen carefully. If you can do 45 minutes uninterrupted, 45 minutes, and stay focused, I can guarantee you, you'll be more productive in the 45 minutes than spending 3 hours and being on social media halfway through those periods. So that is very, very critical. That is very, very critical. So your study style is very, very important. Now, there are sometimes people attend lectures and they are in the lecture hall and their data is on. And they are WhatsApping in the middle of the lessons. So as the lecturer is teaching, they are WhatsApping on their phone. Who the heck are you deceiving? Who are you deceiving? Because your mind is outside with whatever it is that you are chatting with. Now, I know somebody say, yeah, Nhyira, you don't know something important I'm discussing. Come on, forget it. 99.9% of the time, whatever you are discussing can wait. Whatever you are discussing, it's not that someone's life is on the line. Whatever you are discussing is just something that you could have done better. Listen to me carefully. You need to find out in the next 6 weeks that we have to go, in the next 46 days that we have to go, how can I study and utilize my time very, very well? So make sure you have that personal timetable and block some time on this timetable to do what it is that you need to do in order for you to become successful. Because the way I study will be certainly different from the way you study. The way you study will be different from the way I study. We aren't the same, okay? So I see Roland here, I see Nyako James here, I see Titus Siami here, Esther Kosa is around. The way each of us study will be different. You need to find out, how can I study? So number one, your mindset is very, very critical. Number two, you need to create a serene environment for yourself. Number three, you need to find out what is my study style. And please, don't go and ask anybody this question. What do you think is my study style? No, we are all different. Okay? Test a lot of ways of how to study. Okay? There are things, memorize them and try to rewrite them. That is one way you can study. There are things, say them one after the other and try to record them. There are things, just watch it being done and find out if you can record them. There are things, listen to somebody explaining it to you and find out if you can record it, you can recall it well. Test the waters. Okay, literally test the waters and find out which study style best suits me. That is the way forward. That is the way forward. Because if you don't know your study style, you may be studying wrongly. Because I've heard a lot of people saying, Nhyira, I sit behind the book 2 hours and I start dozing off. Or I sit behind the book 2 hours and after that, I cannot remember anything. Then they would jokingly say that, yeah, it's like my family members are after me. Oh, well, yeah, you can say that thing somehow, some way. But come on, let's be realistic. In the 2 hours you were behind the book, how many times did you open WhatsApp? How many times did you open social media? Where was your mind? And that is very, very important. That is very, very important. So your mindset, your environment, your study style. Then the fourth thing I want to share with you will be the issue in relation to your emotions. Your emotions. Very, very critical. Now, if you're a follower of my work, you know that I have said this over and over again. And this is from my mentor, Jim Quick, my brain mentor, Jim Quick. And he said that information plus emotion equals long-term memory. Listen to this carefully. Information plus emotion equals long-term memory. In other words, when you are studying and what you are studying has a higher purpose, you are motivated to study the thing and the thing will retain and you cannot forget what you are studying. What do we mean by that? Remember yesterday I told you you need to find the why that you started this course in the first place. If you started this course because you know that you want to buy a beautiful home for your children and your wife or for your mother, that is a higher purpose. Maybe you started this course because you are broke now and you want to better your life. Or maybe you started this course because maybe your boyfriend left you or your girlfriend left you because you are nobody and now you need to do something. Whatever it is, there has to be an emotion attached to it. Because if you study with the wrong emotion, it will affect you in a way. So I tell people this as well. When you pick up a book and you realize that you are emotionally unstable, put the book down, get some good bath, and go to bed. Don't worry yourself. Maybe you had a bad day. Maybe something happened at work. It wasn't a good thing. Then you came from work at home. Then you are still trying to study. Please, you are worrying yourself. You better eat and sleep. That will do more good to you than being behind the book. Because your emotion is very critical. Your emotion is very critical. The way you feel when you pick up your book, that is very, very critical. That is very, very critical. So you need to find out, anytime you pick the book, find out, how is my emotion like? Because if your emotion is not in sync with your mind, whatever you are studying is garbage. Whatever you are studying isn't going anywhere. Whatever you are studying will not result into anything. So find out, what is your emotions like? Now you realize that everything I'm talking about so far, I'm not really punching you on anything. I'm just telling you the intangibles. Okay? These are the foundations to become successful. These are the things that are hidden behind the greatness. So if you see somebody who is great, somebody who is successful, these are the foundations that makes them who they are. So you got to check your emotions right. Check your emotions right. Maybe something is bothering you. You are thinking about your rent. Okay? You are thinking about how to pay the bills. You are thinking about your children's school fees or whatever it is. Thank God with this COVID-10, schools are no more there. And so people are free a little bit. But you're thinking about a lot of other bills and all those things. You need to check your emotions. Because if your psychology is not in sync with your mind, you're going to be in a lot of problems. You're going to be in a lot of problems. So you want to pass the exams, check it out. What is your psychology? What is your emotions like? What are you thinking about? How are you feeling? This is where one of the critical skills that you will need to become successful comes in, and that is not to care what people say a lot. You see, if you are too emotional about what people tell you, yeah, you are not beautiful, your head like cocoa, you won't become successful, you won't do this, you won't do that. If you are emotionally attached to what people tell you negatively, then you will never become successful, because whether you like it or not, people will step on you. Whether you like it or not, people will affect you. Whether you like it or not, people will spit on you, literally. But you've got to stand up in the middle of the ashes and tell yourself that, hey, I want to step up myself and I want to become a better version of myself. And that is it. That is it. So number one, work on your mindset. Number two, work on your environment. Number three, you've got to know how you study, your study style. Very, very critical. Number four, you've got to find out about your emotions. Very, very critical. I see some comments coming in. Let's see if I can take some comments real quick on the channel. Do we have some comments in here? Okay, so Esther said, please, specifically on the areas we should pay attention to. Okay, I've mentioned that. We'll come back to that. Jonathan said, please, I'm a beginner and I want a lesson on IAS 1. I watched all other standards but didn't really get the upper hand on IAS 1 and IAS 2. IAS 1 is about preparation and presentation of financial statements. So you can, I don't think we have lectures on that currently on the channel, but that is not really a standard that you have to say you need to learn, because IAS 1, it's about preparation of the financial statement, and there are lectures on the channel where we solve final account questions on the channel. So you can look at how we prepare the statement of profit or loss, the statement of financial position, and then the cash flow statement, which is the IAS, cash flow is IAS, and other things in that case. So I think we have that already covered on the channel, I guess. Roland Kujo, you are welcome. I see you. I think I mentioned you earlier. Nyako said, sir, please, with IFRS 9, at what instance do we need to prepare the PV, the present value? I'm a little confused. Now, you got to be careful about dealing with financial instruments. With your question, I guess you are asking a little about the issue in relation to convertible bonds, because when an entity issued a convertible loan note, according to IFRS 9, that is a compound financial instrument or a hybrid financial instrument. For that reason, it has to be categorized into the debt component and the equity component. And the way you get the debt component is by discounting the cash flows on the debt, and the present value of that will be the debt component. You subtract that from the proceeds, and the balancing figure will be the equity component in relation to that. So, Nyako James, that is when you do the present value stuff in relation to that, if you are dealing with convertible loan notes. Title said, good evening, sir. Much love from Zambia. Thank you very much. I love your consent, sir. This rebuke is just what I needed. All right. AFTV said, you didn't see me, right? I'm also here. All right, AFTV, you are welcome. Abdul Fatah Isaka said, good evening, sir. Can there also be fair adjustment in relation to liabilities, just like assets in consolidated financial statements? Fair value adjustment. Yes, there will always be, because with fair value adjustment, it could be an asset or a liability, in the sense that, for instance, there could be an item of provisions that the entity had provided for, but they have not done any subsequent measurement for it. So yes, there could be fair value adjustment for liabilities in as much as it is for assets, and that is very fundamental and basic in there. Right, so I see some of you joining the stream. Comment in the chat box any questions that you have for me, sharing with you a couple of things that you need to do in order to position yourself strategically and ultimately pass the exams to take your life to the next level. Consider to also smash the like button if you have not done that. That way we get more engagement on the video, and YouTube and Facebook will be able to get the video to reach as many students as possible, so together we can grow the channel and reach a lot of students across the continent. Right, so 4 things we've shared so far. you got to work on your mindset, you've got to work on your environment, you've got to work on the study style, and you've got to work on your emotions. Then let me drop the last one, which is discipline. This is the crux of the issue. Discipline. Listen to me carefully. You've got to discipline yourself if you really, really want to pass the exams. You've got to discipline yourself to study. Like I've told you, I'm not here to advise you to study because I can't advise you. All right, you have your own thing, carry. I have my own problem, I'm carrying. Myself, I need an advisor to advise me. I'm not here to advise you, but I'm here just to impress upon you what it is that you need to do in order for you to take your life to the next level. So discipline is a key ingredient if you want to become successful. If you want to pass the exams, you've got to discipline yourself. That was what I was telling you yesterday. You cannot study with your emotions. You cannot study as and when you like. You cannot study as and when you like. You cannot just sit down and your friend says, oh, come and escort me to this place. Then you get up, jolly, jolly, jolly. You follow the person and go away. When your books are there, you cannot do that. You've got to discipline yourself. That is why you have to learn to say no to a lot of things. If you want to study, if you have to make time, because one of the excuses I hear from my students a lot is, whoa, Nhyira, we are busy. Nhyira, you don't know the responsibility we are in. Nhyira, it's not easy. We don't get time. Come on, spare me the excuses, baby. Spare me the excuses. You don't have time? You don't. Are you serious like that? If you sit down and consciously analyze the 24 hours that God gives you every day, are you sure you are busy, productive, making money, strategizing, taking your life to the next level in each of these 24 hours? The answer is no. Because there are a lot of times that you are not productive. There are a lot of times that you are wasting it. There are a lot of times that you're doing something that will not be adding any value to your life. But for some reason, you have become habitual about it, so you still do it. Listen, you've got to learn to say no. No to what? No to anything that would distract you from achieving your goal. Simple. You've got to become narcissistic about what it is that you are doing. That is why some people say that people who are narcissists are likely to become more successful because they are just centered around their goal. They are just centered around what they want to achieve. And they become so much successful and you envy them, but you can't say no. Oh, my friend wedding, no, I'm going to the wedding. I'm attending wedding. Oh, my friend birthday party. If I don't go, she'll be mad at me. I'm going. Oh, my this thing. Then you go. Hey, my this thing. You know in your heart that this thing you are going is not in your heart, but you will go and waste the time. Then when you come back home, you say, I regret going this thing. Why are you punishing yourself like that? I mean, who are you trying to please? Why do you want to please the outward man and make yourself bitter? Come on, this is your life we're talking about here. You've got to learn to say no. Nobody will kill you when you say no. Okay, it's your birthday, I cannot come, you can go to hell. Okay, it is your wedding, I cannot be there, you can do whatever it is you want to do. Okay, because I cannot be there, at the same time pursuing my goal. So you want to become successful, you've got to discipline yourself. And you need to know when to say no and when to say yes. It's very critical. You must learn to say no and learn to say yes. Very, very critical. So how do you prepare for these exams? 6 weeks to go, you must increase your discipline level 10 times. 10x, like Grant Cardone would say. 10x, baby. You've got to put in the work. You've got to put in the sacrifice, and you've got to discipline yourself. You see, oh, hell. Now, sometimes when I make certain statements, people are like, Nhyira, you there? You are talking like that. Nah, that is all. No. No. Have you wondered why in the world, 7.8 billion people in the world, only a handful of people are successful? Have you wondered why there are millions of football players, but only a selected few stand out? Have you wondered why there are a lot of countries in the world, but only a certain countries that stand out? It is learning to be disciplined and focusing on the purpose for which that you have decided to focus on. So you've got to discipline yourself and learn to say no. No to what? I'm not the one to advise you what to say no to. You know what is distracting you. So anything that is a distraction to you, say no. But that is where emotions will come in. Hey, if I say no, they will say, I have changed. They will start calling me name. They will say, small ICA, small CPA you are doing, so you can't even come and attend. And you too, if it is your time, we won't come. If you won't come, does I care? Like somebody jokingly said, that's not the right English, though. But do I care? Do I care? Like somebody said, it's my wedding. I've invited you. You didn't come. Then I said, so if it is your wedding, me too, I won't come. Then I said, I don't care. If you won't come, I don't care. It is about learning to say no. Why? Because someone has paid me to teach them. I teach on Saturday. Okay? I teach on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. I teach strategic case study and corporate reporting on Saturday. You want me to tell the students who have paid me money to teach them that I'm attending a wedding and forgo their lectures? No, I cannot do that. I cannot do that. Because these are the people whose life literally in my hand. These are the people who have paid me money and I have to be responsible to render them the service. And you want me to come to your wedding? I will not come, because that, you can go to hell. I don't care. And that is the kind of tough skin you need in order to take your life to the next level. Because there are some of you, you are too emotionally attached to what the heck people say, and you take people's opinion, and even if you are dying, you will die by people's opinion. Listen to me carefully. You have to discipline yourself and sit behind your book and study. That is it. That is it. And I've told you guys all the time, get the ICA question kits. Get the question kits. It's just 40 Ghana cedis or 50 Ghana cedis. I've said that if that book is 200 Ghana cedis, you've still got to buy it. Because when you sit at KFC, 40 Ghana cedis cannot get you throughout the day. Sunday, when you take your boyfriend or your girlfriend out, 40 Ghana cedis cannot do you any good. But if that 40 Ghana cedis with that book can assist you to understand what it is that you are learning well to take your life to the next level. You have to discipline yourself to be able to study. And that is the deal. That is the deal. And that is what I want you to understand. Your mindset, your environment, your study style, your emotion, all of these things are boiled down to how disciplined you are as an individual. That's it. That's it. Because there are some of you, you will never become successful because you are emotionally attached to what people say. I don't give a crap what someone says. That your thing, I didn't come. I don't care. You won't come to my own. I don't care. I don't care. If you don't come, I don't care. Okay? Because you see, the higher you go, the less that you become. You see, the higher you go, the less interactive you become. You think Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, and co, do you know they are friends? Their friends are those people who are billionaires and millionaires, and they don't attend events by heart. You think when Mark Zuckerberg was at Harvard and working on Facebook, you think if he was attending events and jumping from one wedding to another, he would have built Facebook? You think when Steve Jobs and his co-founder Wozniak, when they started the Apple company, if they were going into events, they will have the Apple company that it is right now? You think Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, and co, they will be where they are if they were attending events like the way you have been attending? You need to discipline yourself, period. Period. Because some of you, you think that this ICA exams, it's about trying your lucky. And there are some of you, like I said yesterday, you stake lotto. Oh, I'm registering the paper. Charlie, I'll do something small, and Charlie, by the grace of God, we will pass. Then you are sabotaging the grace of God. Because there are some of you, you are actually sabotaging the grace of God. You hide behind the grace of God, and you don't do the work that you need to do. But remember, God has a role to play. You have a role to play. The grace of God can only manifest in your life if you work in line with God. You cannot be gallivanting around, doing everything around the way you like it, and expect the grace of God to work for you. No. No. You can't wait 3 days to the exams and start doing dry fasting, thinking that the dry fasting will cause you to pass the exam. When you do that, you are sabotaging the grace of God, and you are causing a disgrace to Christianity. Because there are some of you, you are not ready to put in the work that is required to do what it is that you have to do. And I've got to be in your face. Because like I told you yesterday, there are some of you, you will not hear some of these things that I'm telling you, because you will be pampered. But I'm not going to pamper you. If you don't like it, you can go click on something else and watch. But I know if I can get 2 people, 1 person from this stream to be able to take his or her life to the next level because of this stream, I've attained my mission and I've attained my goal. And that is what you have to understand. So listen to me carefully. How do you pass the exams? How do you study for the exams? Work on your mindset. The paper is not difficult. FR is not difficult. MA is not difficult. To make sure your mindset is right, work on your environment. Look at the people you surround yourself with. What do they tell you? Study style. How best can you study? Find out. Is it reading over and over again? Is it reading and rewriting? Is it watching it? Is it whatever study style it is, do it. Work on your emotions. Very, very critical. If your emotion is not in line with your mind, whatever you are studying is garbage. It's garbage. Then you've got to discipline yourself and learn to say no to everything else. Because you see, you need to create time for yourself to study for the exams. There are no magic pills to pass the exams. The magic pill to pass the exams are these 5 things that I just listed here. These are the 5 things you just listed here. If you discipline yourself, you solve enough questions, you practice enough questions as much as you have to practice, I can guarantee you, you go to the exam confidently, come out of the exam confidently, your results will come, you will confidently check it, and you will be able to pass the exams and take your life to the next level. That is what you've got to understand. That is what you've got to understand. And like I said, I'm not here to motivate you, because this is not a motivational speech. Because I don't do motivation. I don't believe in motivation. Because you will just be hyped for a few minutes, but after that you will go back and go and do the same thing that you are doing. And you need to find the motivation in yourself. Like David said, he said, and David motivated himself in the Lord. And you've got to find out how you can motivate yourself in the Lord to become who it is that you need to become. So get your mindset right, create the right environment for yourself, identify what your study style is, make sure you sync your emotions very well, and discipline yourself and learn to know when to say yes, when to say no. If you know when to say yes, when to say no, I can guarantee you, you will become successful. And don't give a crap about what someone tells you. Don't care what people tell you negatively. Just know, as far as what you are doing is ethical, as far as what you are doing is legal, as far as what you are doing will take your life to the next level, don't care about what other people will tell you. Focus on yourself, focus on your brand, focus on your identity, and take your life to the next level. Because you know that passing these exams, becoming a chartered accountant, becoming a certified public accountant, becoming whatever it is, you know it will take your life to the next level. It is not the end to the, it's not the end in a means, or it's not, that is not the only thing that will guarantee your success. But you know you will go to the next level. You know you will go to the next level. Because some of you, you are doing this because of You have everything already, literally. Probably you have everything. You have your own house, you have your own car, your children are successful already. But you are doing this thing because you know there is another level that you have to go to. Even Steve Jobs is still working. The guy is over $200 billion wealth, and he's still working. So how much you got in your account right now? How much you got? So there is still a new level for you, and I want you to put in the work very well. So if you can follow these 5 things that I've shared with you here, not only will you be able to pass your ICA examination, your CPA exams, your ACCA examination, or your CFA examination, but you will guarantee that you will become successful in your life. Simple. You will become successful. Because these are the things that I've seen to make people's life to become successful. These are the things. I have studied it over. These are things that I do. I keep on telling you guys, I don't come and share with you something out of anything. Like you can see, I'm just pouring out to you. I'm sharing with you from my heart. This is my life that I'm sharing with you. When I started getting the right mindset, and I selectively created my environment and identify how to control my emotions and become laser beam focused and discipline myself, that was when I started seeing progress in everything that I do. And it works. It works. If really you can implement these strategies, listen, this is not a motivation speak. This is a speech. This is not something that you finish and say, I'm motivated to study today. Then you do today, tomorrow, then you are back to your square one. Mommy, Papa, you're going to screw up your life again. Let me take a couple of comments real quick. Comment in the chat box. Let me know, what are your thoughts about these things? What are your study style? What do you think works best for you? What are your challenges? What are some of the challenges you encounter when you are studying? Please put it in the chat box. Let me give you some specific strategies as well here real quick before I talk about public sector, what Esther asked a moment ago. So comment in the chat box. Let me know in the comment box. How are you studying? What are the challenges you encounter when you are studying? When you pick a book, what are some of the difficulties that you encounter? Put it in the chat box. Share your thoughts with me, and let me provide you with some specific strategies on how you can deal with some of the issues. All right. So just put it in the chat box for me. Maybe when you pick a book, this is what happens, or when you study, this is what happens, or this is how you study, but this is it. What do I think about it? Put it in the chat box for me, and let me share some thoughts with you real quick. All right. Let me share some thoughts with you real quick on that. Nyako James said, thank you, sir. You are welcome. Titus said, what are some of the study style you can give and have worked for you? Like I said, our study style, we are all different, okay? Like I said, some people learn with repetition. That's one of the study style, like they read a thing over and over again before it can stick. Some people read, and also after reading, they close the book and they try to rewrite it on a notepad like that. Some people read and then they begin to say it aloud. So they will be walking and will be holding the book and will be saying it aloud. Everybody and his or her strategy on how to study. And these are for reading subjects. For calculating subjects, you've got to put in your work. You've got to sit down and solve the questions. Even if you don't like it, you've got to still solve it in relation to that. Jonathan Dogbe said, okay, sir, thank you. Carlos said, I second all you said. It's the bitter truth. All right. Bright Victor said, thanks for the study tips, bro. You're welcome. James said, I appreciate your advice. You are welcome. David Bruce said, good evening, sir. Thanks so much. It's a pleasure. Gabriel Kogu said, I'm just glad that I met you. All right. I'm also excited that you are joining on the live stream here today. So comment in the chat box. Let me know. Maybe share your thought with me. How do you study? And what are some of the challenges you encounter when you are studying? So let me see if I can provide you with some specific strategies in regard in respect to that, okay? Some specific strategies in respect to that. So Esther, you were asking me about public sector areas to focus on. You see, one thing you've got to understand is that the examiner is now getting to understand the exams as the new syllabus progresses. And November 2020 will be the third examination sitting for under the revised syllabus. And the higher we go, or the longer we go, the more in-depth, the more technical the questions become, okay? Because now the examiner is understanding the syllabus better, the examiner is understanding the scope better, the examiner is understanding students' behavior better, so he can restructure and find out areas that we can test students more in. So off the bat, what I would want you to know is that each part of the syllabus is actually critical, and you have to optimize yourself and make sure you have strength in all of them. Now, I know you will say, Nhyira, how can I study all of these things? The truth of the matter is that you can study all of them, okay? It's not difficult. You can study all of them. But in order to optimize yourself and increase your chances of ultimately passing the exam, there are a couple of things that you need to understand when it comes to public sector. Definitely some issues about the IPSAS, very critical. You must make sure you know them. Definitely the issues about evaluation of financial statements in the public sector. There are three things actually here: budget variance analysis, I think common size ratio, and then ratio analysis. These are the three things in here. You've got to make sure that you master them, because one of them will be in each examination sitting. Then preparation of the financial statements for public sector entities. This is a done deal area that the examiner is going to be setting questions on in the exam hall. Then depending on how excited the examiner is in the exam hall, definitely we're going to have issues on procurement, so public procurement, and then public-private partnership arrangement. It's PPP arrangement. It is something critical that the examiner is going to be setting some questions around that in that case. Then you go to the public financial management aspect. So this is where budgeting and budgetary control, the roles and responsibilities of key public officers like the Minister of Finance, Controller, Accountant General, principal account holders, principal spending officers, dealing with the conceptual framework and regulatory framework. All of these things are critical areas, minor areas that the examiner is going to be setting questions on. Remember, last semester's question, there were 5 questions, and we had 10 sub questions and about 24 sub questions. And that was last semester, the public sector exams. And this is what the from the chief examiner's report. There were 5 questions, but I think there were 10 sub questions, and there were 20 sub questions, 20 or 24 sub questions. What the examiner tries to do in these 24 sub questions is to try as much as possible to cover all scope of the syllabus, and that is very, very critical in relation to that. So you make sure that you are strong with these areas, and you scan yourself out in the exam hall. But you have to note this: don't answer calculation questions first in the public sector accounting and finance, like the preparation of the financial statements. You don't answer that one first, because it's going to take you a lot of time in the exam hall. Like the evaluation of the financial statement, you don't answer that one also first in public sector, because it's going to take you a lot of time. The interpretation, the computation is very critical there. So what you want to do in public sector in the exam hall is to make sure that you optimize yourself in such a way that you'll be able to touch on the theories first, okay? So you go to the questions on public procurement, you go to the question on public-private partnership arrangements, the issues about the roles of key public officers. All of these things are areas that you will be able to look out for to increase your chances of ultimately passing the exam. So I think Esther, Kosa, these are what I can share with you briefly on public sector accounting and finance. But like I said, like I told you a moment ago in relation to that, one of the critical things you need to understand is how you're going to be able to actually span yourself up through the entire syllabus and also be able to understand what it is that is going on there. Okay? So, Esther, that is what I'm going to say. Gordon Jibuzi said, forgive me if I butcher your name, okay, Gordon. Gordon is one of my students. Self-discipline is really cardinal. Thank you for your encouragement. It's a pleasure, Gordon, and I hope that it is something that is going to assist you guys to be able to actually become successful. Because at the end of the day, that is what we want to see. We want to see you guys become successful. I want to see you guys and taking your life to the next level. And who knows, become successful in the best as much as you can. So that is what you need to understand about that. Now, before I sign up for today, I'm going to be doing another session on what you're going to do in the exam hall. I wanted to share that with you today, but I'm going to share that with you probably 2 weeks to the exams or something like that, so that it could be fresh in your minds in that case. So I'll be sharing with you some strategies that you need to adopt, what you need to do when you actually get to the exam, or how you need to position yourself the day before the exams. And I always tell my students that if you work very hard, the day before the exams, you should be cruising, all right? You should be cruising, relaxing, and not be tense, because if you are tense, you are likely to make a lot of mistakes, make a lot of errors, and do a lot of things that will not assist you to become successful. So I'm going to share with you that probably 2 weeks to the exams or 3 weeks to the exam, something like that, some specific strategies in there to help you to be able to pass the examination. But as a takeaway for today, you make sure that you put these 5 things at the core of your heart. Work on your mindset, work on your environment, make sure you work on your study style, make sure you work on your emotions, and you discipline yourself really hard. I see a comment coming in from Victor Bright, said, I am new to auditing with no financial accounting background, more inclined IT. What can you suggest I do grasp this new path of career? Victor, it goes back to the things that we have shared. You don't need, and I say this all the time, you don't need any prior knowledge to become successful or in the ICA or in this new accounting career, or in the auditing career. All you need to is a desire to really achieve the goal and find out your why that you want to do it. So go back to the 5 things that I shared with you. Work on your mindset. See it as a new field, but it's an interesting field. Create a positive environment that will be able to assist you to understand this new subject very well. Maybe you need to get a study partner if it is possible, but don't choose anybody like that as your study partner. Make sure you belong to a community. Make sure you attend lectures where you are taught very well to be able to understand what it is you are studying. Make sure you know your study style, how you study, and how it works best for you. Make sure you work on your emotion as an individual, and most importantly, discipline yourself. Okay? If you discipline yourself that, hey, because I don't have any accounting knowledge in this field, it's a new path that I'm trending on. If you discipline yourself and say, hey, maybe twice every week or 3 times a week, I'm going to block 3 hours, and it's just going to be me with my book, and that is all. If you do that continuously, I can guarantee you will go to the exam hall, pass the exams with ease, and become chartered, and the people with even accounting background will still be struggling with the thing, because it is not about your background. It's all about having the right mindset, creating the best environment, knowing your study style, aligning your emotions with your mind, and then being disciplined in what you are doing. So, Victor, I believe that with this new path, if you implement these 5 strategies and create the right environment for yourself, I can guarantee you it will be an interesting journey. All right. Robert said, I'm very forgetful. There is a time I watched your lecture, and when I went to the comment section, I was supposed to see my own comments. I forgot. I had already watched it. The repetitive study type. Right. So that is it. If you know you are the repetitive study type, then you go about it. But you have to also be careful, because there is going to be a trap here. How many repetitive? Okay, how many times do you have to repeat it before it sticks? Because the more you repeat it, that means you'll be spending all your time on actually just one thing. So you got to be careful even about how the repetitive thing is. Maybe you need to watch it 1, 2, then it sticks. And that is how you need to be training your brain. You have to train your brain. You see, the brain is a muscle. And the more you press that muscle, the more you put that muscle under pressure, the more that muscle stretches. And it has been stated that mind stretch will actually not contract any longer. So you need to, yes, you are repetitive, but it doesn't mean you need to watch something 5 times before it sticks. No. Maybe twice, it should be able to stick. If at most 3 times, it should be able to stick, because you need to place a demand on your emotions, you need to place a demand on your brain, you need to place a demand on your mindset, and be able to do it very well. So yes, repetitive study style is great, but you don't have a lot of time. Because for instance, if you are like Will Smith and you are going to act, and you are casted for a movie and you are on set, and there is a long line that you have to say, how many times will you have to repeat that before when they say action, you can say everything without pausing? Okay, so you need to be able to stretch your mind every time, so that within the shortest possible time, you repeat the thing 1, 2, you pick it up. 1, 2, you pick it up. 1, 2, you pick it up. At most 1, 2, 3, because you don't have a lot of time to just be repeating on one thing in relation to that. Bright Victor said, thank you so much. You are awesome. It's always a pleasure, Bright. I'm grateful that I'm able to assist you in order for you to understand this and channel your journey for the next level of this career that you have chosen in that case. All right. So that will be all for today. This is what I want to share with you today on the live stream. I believe that it's been a fruitful journey. It's been a fruitful period for all of us. And I believe that you've picked up something. Remember what I said in the intro. I'm not here to motivate you. I'm not here to motivate you. I'm just here to let you know what it takes for the greatness to be revealed, what it takes for you to become successful. So once you implement these 5 things that we have gone through, your mindset, your environment, you make sure that you know your study style, create the right emotion for yourself, and make sure your emotion is aligned well, and then you discipline yourself. If you implement these 5 strategies today and for the rest of your life, and I can guarantee you, you will become successful and you'll see your life going to the next level. So thank you very much for joining the stream today. It's always a pleasure coming your way. I'll catch you same time tomorrow, 4:30 p.m. GMT, as we continue with our discussion. Certainly tomorrow we'll be practicing a couple of questions in some areas. Make sure you follow me on Instagram if you're not following me, because the details will be posted there, so you'll be able to follow me there in relation to that. And also, for those of you who are asking of my new advanced taxation book, you can call or WhatsApp 050-114-9296, and the number is on your screen or scrolling below. You'll be able to get access to the book, and delivery will be done nationwide. If you are outside Ghana, you can get the book on Amazon directly, and then delivery will be done for you on Amazon. So thank you very much for joining the stream. I'll catch you same time tomorrow. And shout outs to everyone who joined us on the live stream. Jeremy Rose, Carlos Roberts, Gabriel Koku, Richard Opoku, Esther Kosa, Nana Phyllis, Kenneth, Jonathan, Roland, Nyakon, James Titus, and then everybody who joined the stream. And then also on Facebook, we had a couple of people coming in here, Abdul, and all of you guys. So thank you very much for joining the stream, and I'll see you same time tomorrow as we continue with our discussion in that case. Carlos said thank you and good night, sir. Thank you as well. Nefisa to Ankara said good evening, Nefisa to. I hope you're doing well. So thank you very much. Until we meet same time tomorrow, 4:30 p.m. GMT. Continue to study, continue to work hard, continue to put in the work as needed, and remember to stay blessed. Bye-bye.